touching distance for anybody involved. If Karl Sutton wins, probably he picks Josh Kane next. He's going to have a choice of Josh or Neil. Effectively, you're just going to have to run the whole way through for either of these players to win the title. They're not going to get any more matches off now. They'll just have to win 3 in a row. It's not a bad situation though. 3 first to 4 matches for an ultimate pool title, and for the 2 players that aren't at the table, 2 or 1 match.
Yeah, it's quite amazing, isn't it? Really, you kind of always think that might happen. Someone could have that happen. You think it might be Tom or one of the hitmen, but it could be, well, Neil or Josh could be in the final without playing a shot in anger.
Yeah, these things are really hard to predict. It's a bit like who's going to be number 1 on the tour each season. There's always some player that seems to come out that isn't necessarily the one you'd have had top of your list and does well. I mean, that's kind of the genius of this format. Both of these two have played some games out there. Karl won 3 yesterday, 3 and out. Hasn't had to play again so far today. He'll be pretty happy. I mean, he probably feels that he justifies his position here because he did have those 3 good wins.
Oh, he thinks he's in off, but just got into it enough to hit the yellow rather than go past the yellow.
It's a very open tournament, really. If you look at the names that are left, Neil Raybone, Karl Sutton, Josh Kane and Kristi Caulfield, they're all excellent players, but they're also excellent players of a fairly similar standard and ranking. Not obvious, even if you just started out fresh, which one you'd pick as the winner.
Extension call.
Feels like the Kristi Caulfield roadshow could just continue here. That felt like a very important visit to the table for Karl Sutton that's got away. Needs a bump. Just enough, I think. Yeah, I think he's happy.
Very different attitude between the 2 players, isn't it? Karl had a slightly pessimistic tone in his pre-match interview, whereas Kristi just feels very sort of happy-go-lucky, like he just can't quite believe he's in this spot. Good things keep happening, keeps being eligible for these bounties. It all just seems to be upside from his perspective.
Yeah, sort of insight into Karl's thinking, really, isn't it? It's the way he sees things.
I think sometimes in life you've got to take the positive attitude and try and will the good things to happen, otherwise those negative prophecies almost become true. Kristi seems to be. I mean, he was the one that was agitating to get on the table last night. It kind of paid off for him. On first this morning, 1-3. In the middle of another winning streak here. Playing well.
That wasn't the finest bit of cueing for that 8-ball, but doesn't matter, it's dropped in. Josh Kay makes the final, hasn't played a shot in anger, gets out there. Golden breaks the first break, so he wins the match, wins the frame that way, and then the second frame he runs the clock down for 20 minutes. Thanks very much. Of course, he was involved in the longest ever frame, 22.5 minutes, so he has form, he has previous.
He's not necessarily a player you'd associate with a 20-minute frame, is he?
No, and I think that's part of the reason why he lost it.
A bit of help from his opponent, I imagine, along the way.
Yeah, he was as frustrated, I think, as everyone was watching that frame. I found it fascinating, actually, but yeah, Brian Halcrow just was in complete control of it through the whole way, and just eventually was able to win the frame. But there was a lot of waiting for that to happen. Kristi's in for another chance here. This looks like the plant goes. It also looks like when he plays the plant, the yellow goes to the left-hand side, meaning the ball he's playing will still be available and he'll be on the one on the top cushion. This looks set to be perfect, although the first shot here is delicate. Promise, it was.
Yeah, he's made to look at a lot of difficult shots look very easy so far this weekend. I think because of his demeanour around the table, you maybe think that he's not going to have the most delicate touch, but there's been some real artistry at work through several of his clearances. Happy-go-lucky off the table, but actually very focused on the table.
Well, holds up his hand because he wasn't playing the cannon, I think. When he played it with that much pace, I thought, oh, does the 8-ball need moving? But the hold up of the hand tells us that perhaps it was a bit of a wild shot from him.
He's been involved in quite a few moments of luck today, good and bad. A couple of people make golden breaks against him earlier on. Swept that off pretty quickly. I definitely wouldn't say he's been lucky getting here, it just happens to have been involved in a few of the dramatic moments of the day. Now it's all looking fairly easy. 1-0 becomes 2-0. Important break this.
8-ball, 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 golden break, just like that. Karl Sutton is back in it, and for the third time this weekend, Kristi Caulfield has a golden break against him.
Yeah, he's been on the wrong end of more golden breaks than anybody else.
Yeah, and no reaction really from Karl other than just to acknowledge that he made it. Yeah, that's exactly what he needed, though.
Not someone for a wild celebration. Yeah, held up his hand in brief apology, but he'll be very relieved to get that because he did need to get into this match. That's a pretty quick way of doing it when you're struggling for time and struggling for frames. Actually, that sort of helped the time situation as well. 12 minutes remaining, 2-1, still every chance of getting to a conclusion.
Doesn't change the mindset or the attitude for Kristi at all. He's just straight back on it. Another hammer. Little bit unlucky with a leave here, though. I'm not sure he's on anything. Awkward plant maybe in the middle. I think he's too close to the red he's next to make it into the right centre. And there's nothing up the table. Can he clip the one he's nearest to into the bottom of the... No, he's going for the plant. This is horrible. Oh, he's missed a trick. Loss of turn immediately called. Karl jumped out of his chair. He knew exactly what was going on. He has got the rule wrong, and it is one that will catch you out every now and then. If you are touching ball after the break, you have to nominate. And he was touching the red, and then therefore has to nominate that he's playing yellows. It's one of those very rare occasions. You don't see it very often at all. I think recently we saw Scott Gillespie fall foul to the same problem. The minute you do it, you realise exactly what you've done as well.
Doubly frustrating because it was a difficult shot and he'd played it reasonably well. Turns over an open table to his opponent, who chooses to stick with the yellows.
You saw the speed that Karl jumped up. He knew exactly what was going on. He didn't miss the trick on the rule. He knew what was going on.
Very experienced official in the middle, senior referee Scott Price. He knew exactly what was happening.
Big moment though. Straight on the back of the golden break, and as you say, he executed a great shot. It's going to make it 2-2 with Karl Sutton having the break. And Karl's got to make sure and just deal with these final couple of yellows in the 8-ball, but he's perfect position to do just that. And having said there's quite a bit of time off the match clock, the next 2 frames are going to be ultra quick, and we're going to have half the match left at 2-2 and only 3 frames to play.
This has been a big turnaround. It's always a horrible position when you're sitting in your chair watching your opponent pop the balls that you were expecting to take, particularly for something as silly as an infraction as that. It is an odd situation because normally you only need to nominate where it's not obvious what colour you're going for, and he obviously felt it was very obvious he was going for the yellows, which it was, but it's just a mandatory failure to nominate, which carries a loss of turn penalty, as you say.
No golden break this time, but it's the perfect break. He hit that really well. Interesting leave. I think the 2 yellows are a plant. If they are a set plant, the yellows are pretty good here. Maybe the one he's next to's awkward because it's well blocked off.
May even be able to play the plant and lift the ball over the middle, above the middle pocket on the cushion. He doesn't necessarily need to move it because he could use the other one to drop on it, but could take that opportunity to open it up. That's what he has done, and that's turned out pretty well because he's now got an angle to bump into the red that's blocking the yellow to the top left corner.
Oh, Karl. Momentum on your side and you miss that. Could change it back.
That missed purely because he was focused on the cannon on the red. No way he was going to miss the yellow.
Interesting to see Neil Raybone sat over there in Karl Sutton's corner. Is he playing some mind games out there? He knows that if Kristi Caulfield wins this match that Kristi's going to be calling out Neil because he has to call out Neil or go the random draw, but he's not going to call out Josh. So maybe Neil's trying to even it up and go and sit in Karl's corner and say, come on, mate, you've got this, and get himself into the final. Maybe tell him that Josh is his pick if Karl wins it.
Yeah, I mean, it's not obvious what Karl will do. I mean, I think that will just come down to which of the 2 players he's got a better record against. Josh will be the obvious choice because he's cold in this tournament, but it's not an absolute certainty.
Yeah, and he may well go for Josh because Neil may have just bought him a drink. Who knows? Whatever works at this point.
Such a strange thing to be talking about. Normally this would sound so inappropriate in a tournament, but it's absolutely fine here. Of course, I mean, the one thing that wouldn't be appropriate was anybody playing less than their full ability at the table. There's no suggestion of that, but it's just a bit of gamesmanship as to who you choose to play next.
Oh, that's made this frame really interesting. That is horrible. Yellow 8-ball set plant to the corner. What does Kristi do here? He's going to keep going. I don't know how Kristi makes the 8-ball. I don't know how he gets there. Really difficult to break out. I suppose if he gets the angle, if he plays the combo here and he got the angle, well, he was trying to break it out there. How clever was that? And that was such a fabulous effort as well, trying to come across 3 cushions to play the cannon on the yellow and leave himself on right centre. That was such a brilliant effort and vision. Unfortunately, he had nowhere to go after not doing it.
That would have been one of the shots of the tournament, to play around those angles, combination shot as well, top right. Now Karl's got loads of time. We saw him after one of his matches yesterday remark on how he enjoyed the odd tactical frame, and rule sets that promoted that. Got a good chance if he wants to get involved in a tactical battle here.
This one could last a little while. I think even if Karl got cue ball in hand, he can't go short position on the yellow. I guess what he'd have to do if he got cue ball in hand is maybe come underneath the yellow, play the snooker using the 8 ball. He has left an edge here. Well, now he can't hide behind the 8 ball because the 8 ball's the ball in play. That's actually worked out okay a little bit for Kristi in terms of, obviously he was trying to win the frame in that visit, but it's made things very tough.
Karl play this ball into that combo and screw. Well, no, I suppose it can, well, into the black, not into the combo, and then screw the cue ball safe somewhere else.
He's going to play yellow off the he's going to play yellow off the 8 ball, but as you say, this is a big shot.
Well, he hasn't played any safety elements, just confident.
Yeah, just gone all out. That's a brilliant shot.
Yeah,
it wasn't guaranteed. It really wasn't. That was far enough away just to be awkward, and excellent shot.
This match has really turned around now. Karl was frozen away from the table, but that golden break just kick-started things. In interviews he comes over as lacking confidence, but he doesn't come over as lacking confidence when he's at the table. This has been a really good clearance. Kristi wasn't a mile away from securing this frame earlier on, but once he didn't get the 8 ball open, this was always the likely result, but took some skill still from Karl to achieve it. Now Karl visibly wasting time here, trying to run a bit of clock down. So 3-2, 3 minutes 56 remaining on the match clock.
Yeah, I don't think running the clock down there is the right play. I think that's the wrong play.
The way Kristi breaks, it doesn't normally end up in much of a tactical game after his break, because he hits the break so hard.
He really does. He's really driving through that break incredibly well. Again, not the split, not absolutely perfect again. His work. Yeah. Oh, there's work, and that wouldn't be sucked in. It looked like he missed, and this time it stays up. Going to hear the beeps a lot during this visit, you feel. Not because he's running the clock down in particular, just because plenty to think about.
Yeah, plus I don't think he's going to be in too much of a rush to do anything. It's always much easier being ahead in this situation, just in case it does get tactical. It's not a situation where you're going to be able to waste enough time by potting the loose ones. You're still going to have to play the frame in a somewhat conventional manner.
Ooh. Just trying to pinch the pocket, and that's no good. Gives Kristi a second chance at the table. Plenty of time here for the counter clearance.
That's a bit of a loose shot. It's not going to matter too much, but he's just left himself unnecessarily straight, which makes the next bit of the position harder.
Yeah, because he needs to play a breakout on the next one. That's the problem. Such a key shot coming up now, and he would love to be a lot closer to this red. Oh, so good. That is so good.
He's even left a perfect angle on the one to the right, just to screw down for the one to the left.
Now, should he tick this down underneath the 30 seconds? I feel like he should attempt to, but he played that one a little bit too quickly, so that's not going to happen now. Yeah, he's now having a look to think about it. No extension, so Karl's not going to have long, but once you get it down sub 30, you're really basically saying golden break, or it's going to be a 6 red shootout. The reason I say that is that Kristi Caulfield does not have the next break, so he's absolutely right for me. Run this down to the final second. And he's going to let the cue ball run a little bit as well. The clock won't stop till the cue ball stops. So he's done what he needed to do. He has taken the breaking clearance out of play. It's a golden break, or we're going to another 6 red shootout.
I think he's going to optimise for the golden break. You've got to think he's going to cut break here.
Well, he made his golden break earlier on off the front ball, though. That's the interesting thing. Doesn't really move too much, and Kristi will not have time. He will have to attempt a shot, though. Loss of frame if he just sat in his chair. Got to call that extension, and then it's fine. He's got to call his extension or play a shot, basically. You can't just sit down and let the clock run out. You have to attempt a shot. And he's fine now because the clock can run out, and we will be going to a 6 red shootout. This one finishes 3-3. This one finishes with extra time. Okay, we are ready to go then. The rack is set. Kristi Caulfield to go first. Good break, just has to wait a second or two. Oh, that red's just gone and sat right on the cushion. I think he's doing the right thing going for early, because he can drop it in dead weight. If it doesn't go in, he can go again.
This isn't going to be a good time. It's never great when you have to go up the other end of the table. Now he's considering coming down. The cue ball's moving a lot here. This is going to be a poor time. Could still do it sub 30 if he nails this. Well, he does. That wasn't as bad as it might have been, but still above a par time. 29.37, the unofficial time.
29.36 to beat. And a very good break. Yeah, steady yourself here. Could have done one an extra couple of rolls. I know we talk about stop shots. That's clever. That's clever, and that helps that you've only got 29 to beat. You can play that shot.
Doing the right thing, not running around the table too much, trying to play shots from the same position. And this is good from Karl Sutton. 26 minutes, 26 seconds, 86. He has won. Kristi Caulfield storms out of the arena. He's disgusted with the time he set.
And you're in with a chance of winning some more money, because Kristi was a hitman, which does mean there is a possibility, it's a 1 in 2 shot, of an instant win of 500 quid, or you get the hitman money bestowed upon your own head, and means you just got to earn it by getting to the end of the tournament. So both options are pretty nice, but I know which one you'd prefer. So should we find out what you want?
Yeah, why not? Yeah.
All right, let's see what you got then, Karl. Your bounty rewards is going on your head.
No shock, really, is it?
So we do now, though, have a hitman bounty on your own heads, and you have a choice. We've got 2 fine-looking gentlemen there. Neil has obviously played some matches. Josh is still yet to play a single frame of pool this weekend, and would be the first man ever to appear in an Ultimate Pool final without actually touching a table. Pretty incredible stuff.
Yeah.
And you know, you've got a decision to make. You could randomise it if you wanted to, or you could pick them out. What do you fancy?
Any offers? Last chance? No. Spin it.
Spin it. I like the choice. Yeah, okay. We will leave it to chance. Josh Kane and Neil Rayburn are about to find out their fate. It's a decent difference in the prize money between third and second as well. That's why Karl was so keen to open up the bidding. But here we go. It's random draw time for Josh and Neil. Who is it going to be? Neil Rayburn. Josh Kane is on an unbelievable run here. Absolutely incredible.